Thank you, Faye. Good evening, everyone. And Villa Park is quite the sight. Plumes of flame shooting up into the air. Villa fans away to the right in the Holt End, waving flags of claret and blue. What a night ahead in the fight for Champions League football. And Aston Villa are already enjoying their best Premier League season for points won. And Villa have the advantage over Tottenham in the race for fourth. 6 points clear, though Spurs have 2 games in hand. It must be maddening at times to watch Chelsea, meanwhile, almost as soon as Maurizio Pochettino's team look capable of something, they produce a display like that at Arsenal on Tuesday. Thankfully for Chelsea, Cole Palmer is back in the side this evening as part of 3 changes for the side thrashed at the Emirates on Tuesday night. Petrovic in goal, Chalobah and Thiago Silva return to the back line, which is also made up of Badiashile and Cucurella, Gallagher and Caicedo in front of them, Madueke, Palmer and Mudryk behind Jackson up front. The Chelsea subs, Cassidy, Gilchrist, Disasi, Bettinelli, and then 5 teenagers, Tyreek George, Keanu Dyer, Joshua Achiampong, David Washington and Ted Kirk, the goalkeeper, all with just 3 Chelsea appearances between them, all of them for David Washington. Aston Villa can go 9 points clear of Tottenham in the race for fourth tonight with a win, though of course Spurs would have 3 games in hand at that stage, albeit one of them will be in the North London derby against Arsenal tomorrow. One change to the Villa team that saw a Bournemouth here last weekend. Douglas Luiz back after a 2-game ban, having picked up 10 yellow cards, and he replaces Moussa Diaby, who drops to the Aston Villa bench. It's Martinez in goal with Cash, Konsa, Pau Torres and Luca Dean, the back 4. McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Tielemans in the middle. Bailey, Rodgers and Ollie Watkins up front. Watkins today, who aims to become the first Aston Villa player since Peter Withe in 1980-81 to score 20 goals in a top-flight league season for Aston Villa. Their bench, also the goalkeeper, Diaby, Longley, Irobanam, Chambers, Duran, Diego Carlos, Kellyman and Kesler Hayden. Chelsea all in royal blue, Aston Villa in claret and sky blue. Our commentary position just to the left of the halfway line here in the lower tier of the Trinity Road stand, about 15-20 rows from the edge of the pitch. And Mickey Gray, Villa Park is as raucous as you'd expect it to be these days. Aston Villa have got a major European semi-final to look forward to and the hope of playing in the Champions League for the first time ever, but the Champions League / European Cup for the first time since those glory days of the 80s.
Great time to be a Villa player, isn't it? And a Villa supporter, Joe. They've had a fantastic season and it's just all about finishing it off now. Can they get over the line and finish in those Champions League spots? They're enjoying themselves week in, week out, watching this side play. Entertainment value is through the roof, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they set up tonight as well against this Chelsea team that we don't know what we're going to get from them.
Best season for points won in the Premier League at this stage for 30 years. Only once in the Premier League before have they ended up with more than 66 points, and that was in 92-93 when they finished second under Ron Atkinson. Well, it's been another extraordinary and in some cases defining day around the grounds around the country in the EFL and the Premier League. The chase for European football, as so often is the case, looks set to go down to the wire. But for Aston Villa, who kick us off, there's real belief that Unai Emery can lead them back to Europe's top table for the first time in more than 40 years. And it's Villa from right to left in possession, thumping ball down the middle towards Watkins straight away, cut out by Thiago Silva, and Chelsea playing from left to right with Palmer in possession in the centre circle. Chelsea towards the Holt end as Madueke looks for Jackson speeding up the inside right channel. Pau Torres is across, tugged from the neck almost by Jackson trying to reach across him, and he drags the Spaniard to the floor, and that's a free kick for Aston Villa in their left back position. Not a spare seat to be had at Villa Park, and Unai Emery, as he made his way from the tunnel by the corner flag to our left, walked along the near side touchline, got a deserved and rapturous ovation from the Aston Villa fans after signing his new contract in midweek, Nicky.
Well, absolutely, and thoroughly deserved. He's just been fantastic, hasn't he, since he came back to the Premier League, Unai Emery. You just see how organised Aston Villa are. Look, we talk about the entertainment value, but these players are drilled and they know exactly what they need to do.
The ball is back with Petrovic, the Chelsea goalkeeper, all in bright yellow away to the left-hand side. A campaign which has shown promise for Chelsea, of course. League Cup runners-up and beaten in the semi-finals of the FA Cup by Manchester City, but almost when you think Chelsea are ready to really go on a run of form, they produce a performance, and like we saw away at Arsenal live on TalkSport in the week. Holtenders in the sky rings around Villa Park. Our producer has just told me, Chelsea's supporting producer, Jackson's got rid of his hairdo. It was dyed blonde, wasn't it? Almost bleached, and he's kind of gone for the close crop look, so maybe that'll bring about a change in fortune.
Yeah, well, hopefully a goal-scoring change for him. I think that's what he'll be hoping for himself, Joe, isn't it? Because over the last couple of weeks, we've seen how many opportunities he makes for himself, but he has to start putting that ball in the back of the net.
0-0 the score. Caicedo sandwiched in between the retreating pair of Tielemans and Douglas Luiz, and a free kick to Chelsea. Dead centre, about 10 yards into the Aston Villa half. Pochettino stands, arms folded in his little technical area just in front of the dugouts here at Villa Park. Chelsea playing from left to right towards the cavernous Holt end in the first half. Aston Villa can go 9 points clear of Tottenham. Villa in fourth, though Spurs would have 3 games in hand. And the ball will be clattered forward by Gallagher to the right of centre. Badiashile hit it on the volley, left-footed. The flag was up anyway, and in the end he couldn't get the ball on target. It was a thumping effort from Benoit Badiashile, but it wouldn't have counted even if it had gone in.
Yeah, he's just drifted into that offside position there, hasn't he, Joe? But it's quite a clever free kick. Normally when they're centrally like that, you see them trying to play it straight down the middle, and players always tend to just drift into that offside position. But very clever from Chelsea. It's been a bright start actually from both sides.
3 minutes gone and goalless here, live on TalkSport tonight. We're also across the game in the Championship, huge game between Hull and Ipswich. Ipswich will go second with a win at Hull City tonight, but Hull have playoff ambitions of their own. That's on TalkSport 2. Now then, Bailey, corner of the Chelsea penalty area, twisting one way and then the other. He looks to dink the ball into the box, but he's blocked off by Cucurella in front of the Chelsea fans on the far side. Bailey still teasing down by that corner flag. A couple of quick step overs, so deft and quick on the ball, Bailey. He scampers beyond 2 in Chelsea blue. Back to Tielemans, who's 30 yards out. The square pass now to Pau Torres, the centre half, deep in the Chelsea half. Quick ball up the inside left channel. Digne cuts it across, and it's turned in! John McGinn pulled it back across, and then the little touch to take it beyond the goalkeeper. I think it may have been an own goal, that, of Marc Cucurella, as John McGinn cut it back, but Aston Villa make the perfect start, and their push for the Champions League continues apace here at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 0.
Well, they just sliced them apart, Aston Villa. Great move down the left-hand side. Madueke's the player, he just switches off, doesn't stay with his runner. The overlap and run is so easy for Aston Villa to get in behind. They are onside as well, and that pullback, you've got to stay switched on. You're right, just the last touch, I think it does come off Cucurella, but John McGinn, he's got acres of space when that ball comes near the penalty spot just to make contact with it. That's a brilliant start for the home side.
Well, McGinn mishit it, and then it ricocheted in off the shin of the unfortunate Cucurella. It is an own goal, as we expected, and the Aston Villa fans packed it around us here in front of the commentary position are absolutely delighted. Unai Emery with a big beaming smile, and it's Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 0, and Chelsea's defence in the Premier League breached for the 58th time this season. Chelsea, as the goal is confirmed after what must have been a VAR check. We didn't get any notice of that on the big screens here at Villa Park, but Chelsea have never conceded more goals in a Premier League season than they have this year, and they have conceded another very early on here with really the first Aston Villa attack, Nicky Gray.
Well, you just wonder what Pochettino's thinking as well, because you can see his players. Actually, I said they had a bright start to the game, but soon as Aston Villa get into the opposition's half, the movement's fantastic, but players have got to stay switched on. I talked about Madueke over on this right-hand side. He has to stay switched on and stay with his running. As soon as you let them get by you, that 2v1 situation down the left-hand side, you know that Villa are going to put that ball into the box. 3 or 4 players just waiting to tuck that ball into the back of the net.
Aston Villa at home to Olympiacos in the first leg of their Conference League semi-final on Thursday. That'll be live on TalkSport 2. Chelsea host Tottenham the same evening on TalkSport. Chelsea in defensive disarray again. Aston Villa lead by a goal to 0, and Chelsea's own European hopes fading fast here. Madueke 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area, infield to Mudryk, who completely miscontrolled that. Yes, it was fizzed at him, but he's got to do better than that. And in the end, a foul by Caicedo coming across on the cover. Aston Villa free kick. Acrid smell of smoke in the air. There might have been a flare let off after that goal. Here is Bailey darting down the Villa right again. He's skinned Cucurella, left him for dead. Bailey beyond Gallagher as well. Cucurella tracking back. He's fallen to the floor. Bailey is teasing with those Chelsea defenders. Cucurella scrambles it away, only as far as Tielemans, and it's all Aston Villa in the early stages here. And you can see there's quite a gap in confidence between the two sets of players. Less than 7 minutes gone, and Aston Villa already look relatively dominant, leading by a goal to nil. And Tielemans has touched it left to the near side of Luca Digne, who tucks it onto Morgan Rogers. Dead ball line, back to Digne! Right footed into the side netting. He went near post to try and beat Petrovic. Maybe should have gone a cross goal. It was his slightly weaker side, but Chelsea are being cut to shreds at every opportunity.
Well, down both flanks, Aston Villa are just having a field day, and it's the wide players not helping out the fullbacks. Those overlapping runs, this time Chalobah got isolated, didn't stay with his runner, and I think fortunately for Chelsea it fell to Luca Digne's weaker right foot. Could have maybe gone across the goalkeeper, but how many times are they going to let them get in behind them?
Well, they carelessly conceded possession straight away from the goal kick. Gallagher and Caicedo involved, and then a trip by Cucurella on Douglas Luiz, and it's an Aston Villa free kick midway inside the Chelsea half, right of centre as we look at it. I dare say it, though it was Gallagher who started that concession of the ball for Chelsea, I think Chelsea fans would have expected a lot more from Caicedo, and of course Enzo Fernandez, who's out for the season with a groin injury.
Yeah, they've certainly had their problems, Joe, haven't they, on a weekly basis. You know, they come to this club for big money. I think the expectations were through the roof, and it just hasn't worked for them, has it? I think trying to get that right balance of what midfield they actually need to play.
So Aston Villa will be 9 points clear of Tottenham in the race for fourth as it stands. Spurs would have 3 games in hand. McGinn free kick, right of centre, leaves it for Douglas Luiz to swing it in. Luca Digne climbs, it's a looping header. Petrovic backpedaling, has to punch it over the top one-handed, but the referee, or perhaps the assistant, had spotted a foul, maybe an offside. That lime green flag is up, and it's a free kick to Chelsea inside their own 6-yard box.
Well, Joe, I think Chelsea have to sort themselves out. You know, whether that's going to come from Thiago Silva, maybe just have a word with a few of the younger players around him, just to settle themselves down, because they're shell-shocked at the moment. And that early goal from Aston Villa, look, you think the floodgates could open, because every time they go forward they look a real threat, Aston Villa.
Hull nil, Ipswich nil in the Championship is the latest score. Ipswich into the top 2 in the victory tonight, live on TalkSport 2. In the Premier League today, Sheffield United have been relegated after losing 5-1 at Newcastle. Everton have made themselves safe with a home win over Brentford. Brentford also safe from relegation, so it's 2 from 3 now to fill the remaining relegation places. Burnley, who got a 1-1 draw at Manchester United. Luton beaten 2-1 at Wolves, and Nottingham Forest, who play Manchester City tomorrow. West Ham 2, Liverpool 2, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1. The rest of the scores in the Premier League. In the Championship, Huddersfield are all but relegated. Birmingham, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn in relegation danger going into the final weekend of the season. That's next weekend. We'll bring it to you on Saturday on TalkSport 2. And here is Palmer for Chelsea on the edge of the D. He's been tackled by Tielemans, who smuggles it clear. The race for the playoffs will go down to the final day as well on TalkSport 2 next Saturday. Caicedo crosses for Chelsea from the right, steered upfield by Konsa for Aston Villa. Then a downward header by Chalobah is retrieved neatly by Douglas Luiz. Pau Torres, and they play some lovely neat triangular passing. Aston Villa, quick one-touch play to move the ball from the defensive third towards the halfway line. Madueke chasing back on Douglas Luiz, who eventually shuffles it back to the feet of Pau Torres. But there's so much confidence about this Aston Villa team as they seek a 5th win in a row, and that's the way it's going at the moment. Mickey Gray leading Chelsea by a goal to nil.
Well, they're playing some wonderful stuff, aren't they? Playing out from the back, the little triangles, don't feel under pressure at all, and you can just see that confidence flowing through the players. They're absolutely enjoying themselves, and no doubt about that.
Flying header downfield from McGinn, and it's carefully collected out of the air on the chest of Thiago Silva. Now Chalobah playing at right back, which of course he has done for Chelsea on more than 10 occasions in his career. Scampers in field and rolls the ball back to Petrovic, all in yellow, the goalkeeper away to our left-hand side. Derby Derby County promoted back to the Championship today. It'll be Bolton, Peterborough and Oxford and Barnsley in the playoffs. Cheltenham relegated today, along with Fleetwood, Port Vale and Carlisle, who we already knew were down. In League 2, Sutton have been relegated. Colchester live to survive another day. MK Dons, Doncaster, Crewe and Crawley all make up the playoffs. And the playoffs live on the TalkSport network starting from next Friday night. Can't wait to bring those to you live and exclusive on the network. Here is Gallagher for Chelsea, 1-0 down. Square ball to Palmer, whips it in left-footed, dangerous towards the edge of the box, headed away by Pau Torres for Aston Villa. And now Cash with a header thumped towards the halfway line. The floodlights becoming ever more prominent here at Villa Park on a very grey and overcast afternoon that it has been leading into this evening. And pretty cold as well, Mickey. We're wrapped up warm for late April, I tell you what.
Shivering here. Hoping that the game keeps the way it is at the moment, because I think that's the only thing that's going to keep us warm, Joe.
An own goal from Cucurella separates the two teams. You said you enjoyed playing here, Mickey. It would be tough to play against this Aston Villa side in the form that they're showing, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm quite happy where I'm sat. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it must be a joy to play in this team. It really must, because they just try and get the ball into those forward positions. You can see the midfield players; they get on the ball a lot. They're enjoying themselves. It's like they've all got a little bit of freedom. And that's all down to Unai Emery, just bringing confidence to every individual out there.
Madueke scampers infield from the near side, the right for Chelsea, being tugged back by Morgan Rogers, who played against Chelsea for Middlesbrough in the League Cup semi-final earlier this season. In fact, the second leg was his last appearance for Borough before joining Aston Villa at the very start of February. Really starting to make an impact in the Villa side now. Fine goal that he scored against Bournemouth last weekend in the Premier League. Here is Mudryk for Chelsea, the blonde-haired Mudryk. Darts forward left-hand edge of the penalty area. Jackson, can he cut it back? He pulled it back, but he stumbled and fell backwards as he did so. Got nothing behind it. Cleared away by Konsa for Aston Villa. In fairness to Chelsea, though they are 1-0 down, this is a good spell of possession, though, as I say that. Of course, Gallagher has given it away with a loose ball towards Caicedo. Gallagher, the Chelsea captain, then is able to retrieve possession.
Well, they're starting to grow into the game a little bit, Joe. They're getting into better positions. I do think that the wide players need to get on the ball a little bit more. Everything's been going through the middle of Aston Villa, and it's been easy for them just to clean things up. But when they do have that overlapping run, I think when they get into that final third, the quality has got to be a little bit better.
Absolutely perfect surface here at Villa Park. Very slick. That lovely lush green field in front of us. Unai Emery, hands in pockets, watching on the Aston Villa head coach. His team having a spell without the ball, and it's with Chalobah in the centre circle. Back to Thiago Silva, right almost on the centre spot. Square to Chalobah again. 10 yards into the Villa half, angles the ball wide right to Madueke. Back in field and square to Chalobah again, and Chelsea going sideways rather than playing it through the middle. A square ball again from Thiago Silva to the right, and Chalobah. No great threat to Aston Villa at the moment, but now it's Madueke one-on-one with Luca Digne attacking the corner of the penalty area. Rogers tracks back to help out Digne and wins the ball back. Quickly feeds Watkins, who nudges it beyond Thiago Silva. Watkins darts up the left-hand side. McGinn is on the edge of the penalty area. Watkins lays it square. Sean McGinn, he's brought it down. He's laid it back to Watkins, who curls it low, but it's straight into the gloves of Georgi Petrovic. And Watkins is denied that 20th Premier League goal. Not an easy effort from the corner of the penalty area, and he didn't really get his customary power and accuracy behind it.
Well, it was fantastic play from Ollie Watkins initially. The little flick around the corner was so clever, and then he's just going to try and burst into that 18-yard box. He was so clever, just got his head up, and John McGinn's first touch just needed to be a little bit better. He was bobbling up in front of it, couldn't get his strike away, but it's just a threat that they've got on the counter-attack, Villa, and they just used that pace in abundance.
And now Chelsea are breaking through at the other end. Jackson is clear here, and he's poked it into the top corner. The flag stays down. Jackson has equalised for Chelsea. VAR will check it. It came almost out of nothing, but Nicholas Jackson, much criticised for missing goal-scoring chances in recent weeks, has finally found the back of the net again, and Chelsea are back level. 16 minutes in, Jackson has poked it beyond Martinez, and it's Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 1.
Going to be interesting to see this one, Joe, isn't it, to whether he is onside or not. I think as it's played, I think he's just crept into an offside position. Well, I have to say, if it stands, it's an outstanding finish from Nicholas Jackson. That Euchre haircut, if it does stand, is certainly working. Great first touch. It's a typical angle with the outside of his right foot, but he puts it away. Absolutely superb finish.
VAR checking the goal. Jackson hopes that he's got his 14th of the campaign. He did score recently against Everton in that 6-0 win for Chelsea in the Monday Night Football, but as I say, much criticised over recent times, and I think particularly in the second half of the season for some of the chances that he's missed in big matches, the League Cup final and the FA Cup semi-final. As the VAR check goes on here, Craig Pawson, the on-field referee, and the VAR is Chris Kavanagh back in Stockley Park in West London, and Chris Kavanagh stands midway inside the Aston Villa half. The Chelsea players ready to kick off again, and I just wonder, it was a very tight decision against Nicholas Jackson. Is it going to stand?
Well, they don't look too confident, those Chelsea players, Joe, do they? I mean, we've only seen the replay of it once, and he actually did look as if he just crept into an offside position. Falls on the penalty, on the centre spot at the moment. But yeah,
it's been ruled out. It's a free kick to Aston Villa. Offside against Jackson. Mickey, you called it first time, you got it right. And it's still 1-0 to Aston Villa as Jackson's goal is ruled out for a tight offside, but when we see the lines drawn again on our monitor in the commentary position, it is the correct decision.
Yeah, it just felt like he crept a little bit too soon, Nicholas Jackson there. But I have to say, the ball through to him and the pace he showed was absolutely fantastic. And look, it's the right call, isn't it? I know the goal doesn't stand, but it'll still bring a bit of confidence to Jackson, who's been struggling in front of goal.
It was a tremendous finish into the top corner beyond Martinez, but it doesn't count. And here come Aston Villa with the tenacious McGinn, trying to wriggle away from three in blue, but Chelsea have cleared the ball, and it's poked upfield by Mudryk to the feet of the live wire. Jackson again, driving infield from the left, then he pokes it back out wide to Mudryk, who's continued his run. Mudryk corner of the area, hammers the right-footed shot over the top and into the lower tier of the Holte end. 18 minutes gone, Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 0 on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Tottenham against Arsenal and Nottingham Forest against Manchester City, live tomorrow, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. It's still Hull 0, Ipswich 0 in the Championship, by the way. Hull trying to get into the playoff positions. Ipswich can go second above Leeds if they win, and just a little injury concern here potentially for Ezri Konsa of Aston Villa, though as I say that, Mickey, he is back up on his feet again.
Yes, he is, which is great news. Another decent move from Chelsea again, wasn't it, from Mudryk 20 seconds ago there, but I do think it was the wrong decision. He just couldn't wait to get his shot away. He had space in front of him. He could have drove a little bit further into that 18-yard box, but it's such an open game of football. Villa look a real threat when they're going forward, but as I said a few minutes ago, Chelsea are just starting to grow into the game.
Well, they have won here this season, Chelsea, in the fourth round replay in the FA Cup. Well, that, by the way, will be the last FA Cup replay to be played in the main draw, now that they have been scrapped from next season. Replays in the FA Cup proper. Here is Douglas Luiz, lovely control on the halfway line, and he pokes it on towards Watkins. Flag has stayed down at least for now. Watkins 1-on-1 with Badiashile, onto his right foot, wide to Bailey. Bailey keeps the ball in play down by the dead ball line, and then the flag does go up. It must have been for the pass by Douglas Luiz, poked up the middle towards Watkins, who was chasing and didn't time his run correctly.
Well, I mean, I know linesmen have been told to keep the flag down, but I think we could see that as the build-up was in front of us there, Joe, that Ollie Watkins had ran into an offside position. And then, 10-15 seconds afterwards, we have to wait for the move to end before the flag goes up in the air. Ridiculous.
Mickey Gray, former Sunderland, Blackburn and England defender, is with us for commentary this evening at Villa Park. And again, the noise from the vast majority of the 42,000 here, from the Aston Villa fans, and the great support of their side. Reverse ball up the inside right channel for Chelsea from Palmer, who was stationed on the halfway line, eludes Jackson, and it's easy for Martinez, the enigmatic Martinez, in those short sleeves, to come out and collect the Aston Villa goalkeeper, the hero of the dramatic quarter-final second leg in the Conference League away in Lille, when he saved 2 penalties in that famous shootout victory. And so Aston Villa against Olympiacos in the first leg of the semi-final on Thursday night on TalkSport. Chelsea against Tottenham on TalkSport at the same time. Sorry, the Villa game is on TalkSport 2. And make sure you download our app. That is the best way to be across everything, because we've got football Monday to Sunday, I believe, next week on the network, including the Premier League, of course, the WSL, the start of the playoffs, the Championship final day, Champions League as well. It's all happening, and it's all with us. And here is Madueke trying to glide down the near side the right. Back in field to Caicedo. Madueke gets it back right in front of Maurizio Pochettino, then threads the ball to the feet of Trevor Chalobah. Hull 0, Ipswich 1 in the Championship. George Hurst, back from injury for Ipswich, had a long spell out of the side, the former Leicester man, but it's Ipswich who, as it stands, live on TalkSport 2, will move above Leeds United and into the automatic promotion positions. Leicester, we know, are already up after Leeds were thumped by QPR last night. Here is Chalobah on the halfway line for Chelsea, right of centre. Again wide right, Madueke with the red and white boots. Chelsea playing towards the Holt end in the first half. We're midway through it. They trail 1-0, but in fairness, it's been I would say, a very good response from Chelsea to going a goal behind here.
Yeah, they've been patient, haven't they? They've waited for their opportunities. As the shot comes in again from another 25 yards out, this time from Cole Palmer, Joe. And I was just about to mention, we've not really talked about Cole Palmer so far in the game. He's been very quiet, I have to say, for the first 22 minutes of this match.
Well, he simply has to go to Germany with England, doesn't he? That can't be a question.
Well, yeah, I'm in agreement with you, of course I am, yes, but it is a conversation at the moment, isn't it?
23 goals this season for Chelsea in all competitions, Palmer. 11 in his last 4, including 4 against Everton and 3 in that incredible victory over Manchester United. Palmer retreating to win it back for Chelsea now. Deep inside the Aston Villa half, and Chalobah lays it square to the feet of Badiashile inside the centre circle. Aston Villa are camped behind the ball at the moment. All 11 behind the ball, and almost all of the play at this moment in the first half is inside the Aston Villa territory. Though Chelsea aren't creating too many clear-cut chances, you do have to say.
Yeah, well, the problem is, Joe, that it's too slow from Chelsea, which has given Aston Villa the opportunity to get everybody behind the ball, and then Chelsea have to work wonders to break them down. It's nice to keep hold of the ball and get a bit of confidence going, but they have to do something more with it.
Mudryk has poked it onto Cucurella, first time left footed crossing the dead ball line, brought down by Jackson. The ball had stayed in play off the left foot of Cucurella, and now Gallagher wide towards Madueke. His pass is only half intercepted, retrieved by Madueke, 10 yards to the edge of the D, in a congested area, gets it back from Caicedo, thought about going for goal, cuts inside away from McGinn. Caicedo central position, a low shot, and it's easy for Martinez, and Caicedo continues his run of having never scored a goal in a Chelsea shirt. 1-0 to Aston Villa.
Well, I think he's going to have to get closer to goal if he is going to get that first goal as well, Joe, isn't he? Because, I mean, Martinez, it was a simple save, wasn't it? He could have put his cap on that one, and no, if they're going to get in behind Aston Villa, they've got to start moving that ball a little bit quicker. When you see Villa do it, they all go with a purpose, and they want to get into those positions to score goals. Chelsea, for me, are just playing in front of Aston Villa at the moment, and they're not threatening in behind enough.
Well, Aston Villa are readying a change right away. Moussa Diaby is getting stripped and ready to come on, so clearly there is an injury concern for Aston Villa here. All 11 are currently out on the field, but Moussa Diaby is getting stripped and ready to go. Could it possibly be any... No, it's not a tactical change. The Villa man has gone down on the far side of the field, and that Villa player is Yuri Tielemans, I think, and Moussa Diaby is about to take to the field. Tielemans surely can't continue. Here come the 2 Aston Villa physios, but Diaby's already getting instructions and he's going to come off.
Yeah, it's a shame for Yuri Tielemans. He went down to ground there and just started thumping the turf. Looks like a groin injury to me, Joe, as well, because I don't think there was anybody anywhere near him. He's obviously got his information across to his coach and staff just to say, look, I can't continue on in the game, which is a shame for him. Yeah, they're going to have to make that change.
And Diaby is a ready-made replacement, no question about that. And so he will come on, and there's a lull in the game, people milling around in the stands, a ground of such great character and rich history, Villa Park, so atmospheric and a great blend of that character and modernity, and nods to Aston Villa's wonderful European history of the 1980s, that a famous commentary from Brian Moore of Peter With's winner in the European Cup final in 82 is on a banner in between the two tiers of the North Stand away to our left. And now Tielemans, well, he is on his feet, which is good to see, and he's not really limping that much, but Aston Villa don't want to take any chances given the games that they've got coming up. And it's the £52 million man who scored against Chelsea in the fourth round replay, Diaby, who is going to come on.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a change in system as well, because Diaby will probably go into that forward position. Just wonder whether one of the midfield players is going to have to tuck in a little bit more. Maybe looking at Rodgers. He's drifted over onto this left-hand side, but he might just have to tuck in a little bit. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's a nightmare for Tielemans. You always feel for players when they go off with an injury so late on in the season as well, but Diaby is certainly a fine replacement.
1-0 to Aston Villa, 27 minutes played now, and Bailey just tying his laces. Now Bailey's gone out to the left and Diaby to the right hand side. Well, we'll see how Aston Villa shape up here as Bailey's finished tying his laces and he sort of trots back towards the sort of position that he's going to play in. Is it Rodgers and Watkins up top in a two? And Badia Shield for Chelsea meanwhile. Forward to Mudryk midway inside Aston Villa territory with his back to goal. The skipper Gallagher finds Caicedo. And Chelsea have played well since conceding the opening goal. They started very sluggishly, Chelsea, but have worked away back into the match as they try and find an equaliser. Gallagher 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Cucurella on the overlap. Cucurella with the own goal that separates these two. An unfortunate own goal. Could do nothing about it. The ball ricocheted in via the effort of John McGinn. Applause for Tielemans as he makes his way down to the tunnel to our left. Chelsea still in possession. Forward to Palmer. Palmer in the centre, edge of the D, right, left-footed curler blocked. That was goal-bound from Palmer. And just a chink away from 1 or 2 in the claret and blue of Aston Villa, and Palmer sized up the opportunity.
Yeah, he's certainly starting to grow into the game, Cole Palmer. It's a couple of occasions now, but all their shots, Chelsea's shots, seem to be coming from outside of the 18-yard box, which is why I say it's simple for Aston Villa, because they've got everybody behind the ball. They'll be comfortable at the moment. They're saying, look, you can have as much possession as you want because they're not hurting us with it.
Here is Caicedo, corner of the 18-yard box. Villa with virtually everybody bar Watkins, in fact, back behind the ball here. And Gallagher will roll the pass to the feet of Badia Shield now. Square ball to Thiago Silva, lip of the centre circle. And Villa playing a very patient game in terms of sitting back and waiting to hit Chelsea on the counter, and Chelsea in a sense having to be equally patient, given that they're not really carving out any clear chances. Caicedo trying to win the ball back half the pitch, and he's done so in front of Douglas Luiz, pokes it on towards Jackson, and Jackson trying to burst through the middle, but quick off his line, scampering forward to gather it was Martinez at the feet of the striker, and there's a pat on the back at the Holt end from Konsa to Cash, because I think Cash did a lot of hard work there to outmuscle Jackson as he tried to race onto it.
Yeah, he had to be sharp, Matty Cash, had to be very clever. You could see the run from Jackson after it was played in by Caicedo. Looked as if he just got a little bit too much pace on it. He's just looking down into that technical area, and Unai Emery's still telling his players just to calm themselves down, just to be patient, and they're waiting for their opportunity, waiting for a mistake from Chelsea, giving the ball away, and that's when they pounce on you.
Very happy to have signed a new contract this week, Unai Emery. And Chelsea in possession again. Chelsea have dominated the ball really since going behind in the 4th minute. In fact, 75% of possession for Chelsea over the course of the game. Villa with that early flurry, but now seemingly content to sit off Chelsea here. Chalobah in the centre circle, and actually when Chelsea have possession, it's almost like a defensive three of Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Mudryk, but now it's given away by Badia Shield, who wasn't diligent enough with that pass down the middle. McGinn with a lovely flighted crossfield ball, left to right towards Bailey. He's brought it under control down by that far side the right. He's in a wrestling match with Badia Shield, who is surely fouling Bailey, tugging him back in front of the Chelsea fans, and in the end the assistant rightly flags beneath the dark skies and the floodlights here, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa, left with the edge of the 18-yard box. Good work by Bailey.
Well, you were just wondering when the linesman was actually going to put his flag up for a foul, because Nadia Shield had hold of him, but it seemed like for an age. But a great ball from John McGinn, and you can see Bailey just trying to get on the front foot there as well, and his first touch was fantastic. Certainly would have tested out that strap knee that he's got there as well, Joe, but this is a real problem for Chelsea again, is it? Because Aston Villa set pieces, they do work hard at these.
You're absolutely right, Mickey. Lots of heavy strapping on that left knee of Bailey. Just over half an hour gone. Free kick to Aston Villa at the north stand end of the ground. McGinn one arm up into the air. He's going to swing this in, left-footed into the 6-yard box. Good header away by Badiashile. Height and distance on it. It'll drop to Cash midway inside the Chelsea half. Very calm Douglas Luiz as he plucks the ball out of the air. Feeds Cash again on the halfway line. Cash pumps it crossfield, right in front of our commentary position, but there's too much on that, right to left towards Luca Digne. It skims off the Frenchman's head and out of play for a throw to Chelsea on the near side to right. On a day where Sheffield United were relegated from the Premier League, Sutton down out of League 2 into the National League, Cheltenham relegated from League 1, but Derby are going up. And in the Championship, Birmingham, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn are all going to be involved in the relegation battle on the final day. Huddersfield are virtually down because of their poor goal difference. Hull, nil. Ipswich 1, a latest score in the 8 o'clock kickoff live on TalkSport 2. So Ipswich going into the top 2 as it stands. And Chelsea's women beaten on aggregate in the Champions League semi-final by Barcelona earlier. Here is Thiago Silva winning the ball back for Chelsea midway inside his own half, and now Gallagher tees it right to Madueke. Return ball infield to Gallagher, just shy of halfway. That's a pass way over hit by Gallagher. Madueke was never going to chase that down in the right wing position because Pau Torres had a head start to send it spinning back to goalkeeper Martinez. Then Rodgers, who's not been particularly effective, loses out on the halfway line. Chelsea very comfortable on the ball. Can the likes of Palmer seize the moment and help find Chelsea an equaliser, Mickey Gray? It's a game of chess at the moment in that middle third of the field.
Yes, it is, yeah. And watching Chelsea, you're just looking for somebody who's got that key pass, or who wants to do the hard yards and try and run in behind this back line of Aston Villa. Because at the moment, you're just seeing the body language of Madueke when the pass was played a little bit too far forward. He's waving his arms around to Conor Gallagher as if he didn't want to make the run. Everything's defeat at the moment. You know, you've got to be willing to try and break your neck and get in behind to make something happen.
Chalobah on the halfway line forward to Jackson. Quick feet away from both Rodgers and Douglas Luiz. Now Palmer with his back to goal. Shuffles away from the challenge of Pau Torres, and Gallagher steers it wide to the right wing position, and Madueke infield to Palmer, about 6 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Back is Chalobah onto Gallagher. Little triangular passing from Chelsea, but they haven't got any further forward. In fact, Palmer's had to go back to the centre circle, and Thiago Silva, Pochettino pacing up and down in his technical area. Badiashile, lovely sidewall pass. Mudryk is in, square towards Jackson, couldn't reach it. It's come out to Caicedo on the edge of the box. Wide to Mark Cucurella. Cucurella brings it down, digs it in, headed off the post by Jackson this time. 6 yards out, big chance missed by Chelsea after excellent build-up play. Suddenly they found another gear in the attacking third, and Jackson, well, you have to say again, from close range should score.
Joey has to score 100%. It's brilliant build-up play from Chelsea. It's patient. The ball in from Cucurella down the left-hand side, but because he's unmarked Jackson in that 6-yard area, he's headed it down. He's done the right thing there, but he's got the whole goal to aim for. And it's just a lack of confidence in front of goal. He's thinking about things too much, but that has to find the back of the net.
Well, one disallowed for offside, and one off nearly the base of Martinez's post. The goalkeeper away to our right at the Holt end, rooted to the spot. The voices of thousands booming behind him now, but Aston Villa struggling to retain any sort of possession. This must be concerning now for Unai Emery. Ball up the inside right channel from Chalobah, evades Palmer on the stretch. Pau Torres will feed it back to the goalkeeper. Now Douglas Luiz on the edge of his own box, fouled by Jackson, who was a little overexcited with that challenge, and it'll be a free kick to Aston Villa. Here's Mickey Gray.
Well, it's such a cheap foul to give away from Nicholas Jackson as well. You can see Douglas Luiz, he's panicking a little bit, doesn't want to clear his lines, he's trying to play out from the back, and Jackson does him a favour, just barges into his back, and it's a simple little foul. But you're right about Aston Villa. Look, brilliant start to the game. Did not have a lot of possession in the game. They looked a real threat in that first 10 or 15 minutes of this first half, but other than that, you're wondering whether they're just playing the patient game.
We've had 35 and a half minutes here And Aston Villa still lead, but the advantage is a slender one. Pau Torres, edge of his own penalty area. Crossfield left to right. Cash collects the ball in field, had to dart in front of Mudryk to regain possession. Now cleverly pokes it on to Diaby. Diaby darting forward now at real pace, attacking the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. He's laid it square to Morgan Rogers, on to Ollie Watkins. Here's his chance! Saved by Petrovic at the near post. Watkins went for power. The angle was closing in on him with every half second that flew by, and Petrovic carried it away. Good save, albeit one you'd expect him to make.
Well, again, super break from Aston Villa, isn't it? They've got pace to burn on those flanks now, with Diaby on the pitch as well, and Bailey over on that right hand side. But the switch of play, the little nick towards Ollie Watkins, could he have gone across the goalkeeper? He's done right, he's hit the target. I just feel like it's a matter of time before he does get that 20th Premier League goal.
And dinked forward by Palmer for Chelsea. Infield from the right to Gallagher, who's taken it down beautifully over his shoulder. Gallagher now being forced away from the corner of the box by Rogers, who's doing his defensive work impressively here. In fact, it was Conser coming across from centre half to deal with the threat of Gallagher. And now Caicedo, edge of the centre circle, just inside Villa territory. That's a lovely ball, high on the diagonal, floated to the left, and Cucurella back in field to Mudryk, who's about 5 yards from the edge of the box. Mudryk turns away from Bailey, and then on that right foot again, gets it so wrong, so far wide back. Now he's got a goal kick or a throw. I think it's just about a goal kick to Aston Villa.
It was very close, Joe, to actually going out for a throw-in, wasn't it? I mean, it's the decision making, isn't it, from Mudryk? That's 2 occasions now where he's on the corner of the 18-yard box. It's got to be an absolute wonder strike to score from where he's taking his shots from. Just be patient and play the right ball.
Aston Villa leading by a goal to nil, and Morgan Rogers now is racing up the middle towards the edge of the D. His touch is heavy, and he slipped as he tried to thread the ball to his immediate left, and Watkins, pass intercepted by Chalobah and cleared upfield by Thiago Silva. Gallagher's broken between the lines, and now Mudryk quickly to Jackson. Good counter-attack this from Chelsea. Jackson corner of the penalty area. Cucurella trying to cut it back. His cross is blocked, this time by Cash at the near post again. But Cucurella's won it off Diaby. Not enough urgency from the Villa sub. And now Gallagher curls it goalwards from about 30 yards out in a central position, and Martinez saw that wide easily. Goal kick to Aston Villa, but more warnings for Unai Emery's team.
Well, there's no doubt Marc Cucurella's getting a lot of joy now down that left-hand side. Since he started breaking across the halfway line into the opposition's half, he's put some decent balls into the box. But on this occasion, he got to the byline, but there was nobody, not one Chelsea player in the penalty area looking to get on the end of his cross.
Chelsea impressively speedy with the counter-attack there. A real dynamism about the way Chelsea came forward in that moment. But they've lost possession in the middle of the park. It's then won back by Caicedo, getting in front of Douglas Luiz with a body check that was firm but fair. And Chelsea have it now with Gallagher again in the centre circle. Unai Emery pointing instructions to one or two of his players. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea in on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. We have had 39 minutes of play on TalkSport, live and exclusive from Villa Park, and Aston Villa will be 9 points clear in the race for 4th, 9 ahead of Tottenham, but of course Tottenham would have 3 games in hand. Villa's goal difference is better, by the way. Better at the moment, Aston Villa, their goal difference by +6 effectively, as Chelsea win a free kick deep inside Villa territory, far side their left.
Yeah, good play from Mudryk. I think he wasn't really expecting that ball to go over the top of Diaby's head there. His first touch, he's done quite well actually to win a foul out of that, and it's the positions you want to see him in. That diagonal ball, certainly from right to left, is working a treat for Chelsea over the last 5 or 6 minutes. They're getting in behind and now starting to cause problems, but still searching and trying to get themselves back on level terms.
Well, it's Palmer and Gallagher who are standing over the free kick here. Left wing position, and Neville almost with the penalty spot, not even a yard infield on that far side. Chelsea playing from left to right towards the Holt end, all in blue. It'll be left to Cole Palmer to drive it into the near post. Thiago Silva was there, but Matty Cash did enough to block him off, and Cash, as he did so, was fouled by the 39-year-old Thiago Silva, and that's an Aston Villa free kick in their own penalty area.
It's got to be better, Joe. That the free kick from Cole Palmer, we know he's got the quality over on that left-hand side, but you have to beat that first man. It nearly paid off for them because Thiago Silva made a nice little run to the near post. Didn't quite get on the end of it, but when you get into those positions, Cole Palmer was saying, he has got the quality, got to make it better.
It's still 1-0 to Ipswich at Hull in the Championship on TalkSport 2 tonight. Cash rolls the ball through the middle towards Bailey for Aston Villa, cleared away only as far as Diaby. It'll drop down to Cash again. Now Rodgers on the edge of the penalty area, right-footed low shot, and he's picked up the bottom corner. Morgan Rodgers, the youngster's at it again. He could do no wrong, the 21-year-old. It's 2-2 in an Aston Villa shirt for Morgan Rodgers, and that is a massive boost, not only in the context of the game for Aston Villa, but in the race for a place in next season's Champions League. Chelsea have dominated possession, but it's Villa who've got the 2 goals. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 0.
Well, it's that counter-attacking football yet again from Aston Villa, and they just pour forward in numbers, but when it goes over to this left-hand side and Morgan Rodgers picks up, I have to say, he fooled me because I thought he was going to go to the far post. It's very clever, gives the goalkeeper the eyes. Is it the little nutmegs on its way in as well, Joe? Yes, it is. Through the legs of Chalobah. How many times do you see it? It's an outstanding finish from a player who's banging form right now.
With 3 minutes of the first half to go, and Morgan Rodgers scores in back-to-back home games for Aston Villa, and they lead Chelsea by 2-0. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Aston Villa to win 8-1 on, Chelsea to win at 19-1, all back the draw at 13-2. Don't forget Betfair paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with a 90-minute payout. Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+, BigGambleAware.org. Equaliser for Hull City at home to Ipswich in the Championship. Ozan Tufan has got that goal. That's a boost for Hull in their playoff chase. And here come Chelsea through the middle. Caicedo's pass cleared away by Martinez. That equaliser for Hull means Ipswich drop out of the top 2 in the second tier. So it would be Leicester and Leeds, though Ipswich would have a game in hand on Leeds United. That is away at Coventry on Tuesday night, live on TalkSport 2. So 1-1 there, 2-0 to Aston Villa here against Chelsea, and Villa Park is roaring again. Strangely, because in a sense it's not been a particularly excellent Aston Villa performance, but they've been so clinical, Mickey Gray.
Well, Joe, you're right. It's not a dominant performance, but they do look a real threat, I submit, every single time they counter-attack Chelsea. I mean, you look at the possession and the stats in this game, 26% possession and they're leading 2-0. It's incredible. It's all about what you do in that final third, and you can have the ball as much as you like, which Chelsea have had, but they're just playing in front of Aston Villa. They have to do more with the ball in that final third.
This guy's Caicedo inside the centre circle. Square pass to Palmer for Chelsea. And Palmer, who has not really had the opportunity to produce one of the moments of quality that we've seen him do on so many occasions so far this season. Aston Villa have been very compact out of possession, and though Chelsea have dominated the ball, the actual obvious opportunities that they've put together have been relatively rare. You've got the offside goal against Jackson, and Jackson's header off the post from Cucurella's cross, and that really is the sum of Chelsea's first half efforts ultimately.
I mean, Joe, the header changes the game, doesn't it? He has to score, Nicholas Jackson. When you're in there and you're not even being challenged, he's done right, he's headed the ball down, but he's got to score.
Aston Villa coming forward again now. Lucky ricochet takes into the path of Digne, delivers left-footed, headed away from the edge of the penalty area by Badiashile. It'll drop down towards that 18-yard line again, and Bailey takes over. Back to Douglas Luiz, midway inside the Chelsea half. The pass is cut out by the retreating Jackson. And Chelsea have the ball with Cucurella, who floats it high up the left-hand side. 6 minutes of added time. Jackson has robbed Konsa, but at the expense of a foul, as Jackson looked to bear down on goal. It's a free kick to Aston Villa. 2-0 they lead into 6 minutes added at the end of the first half. And, well, you're absolutely right, Mickey Gray. Unai Emery won't care one jot about possession stats or anything like that. His team lead 2-0, and especially at this stage of the season, it is all about results.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. He'll be thrown to pieces in Emery because his forward players have certainly turned up. 2 really good goals, 2 well-worked goals, but catching Chelsea on the counter. How many goals this Chelsea side keep conceding? I mean, they're not giving themselves a chance. They play some really nice football, but they've got to be so much more clinical in that final third.
And Chelsea haven't conceded this many goals since 91-92 in the league. 60 they conceded that year, 59 and counting this year. Wide ball from Rodgers towards Digne, near side the Aston Villa left, right in front of the commentary position, deep inside the Chelsea half, a minute into 6 added at the end of the first half, and it's a throw to Aston Villa, about level with the 6-yard box, and Luca Digne with the orange boots, the Frenchman. He's going to wipe the ball in his claret and sky blue shirt, and he's shaping in to hurl this one in long, and Pau Torres has come forward from the back for this throw for Aston Villa. Here it comes from Digne, up towards the penalty spot. Rodgers jumping, headed away by Caicedo, nodded back in by Matty Cash. Pau Torres is still there. Chelsea deal with it. First the header from Chalobah, then hooked over his shoulder downfield by Mudryk. Jackson chases, beaten to it by Konsa. Jackson working as hard as he usually does for Chelsea. He does try and do his best and get into the positions required, but easily beaten to it by Konsa there.
Yeah, it was great defending. Really, really good defending from Konsa there, because he was trying to get to the ball before it bounced so he could clear his lines. It was an awkward one for him. And you're right, Nicholas Jackson, his effort is always there, isn't it?
Palmer. And now Mudryk on the halfway line for Chelsea. Right into the challenge, the sliding challenge of Bailey, who also caught Conor Gallagher. And that's a clear free kick to Chelsea on the halfway line. And 4 minutes of the 6 added remaining in the first half. Maurizio Pochettino, stony-faced, with his arms folded on the near side touchline. I wonder how he can try and cajole his Chelsea players into believing that they can come back here tonight, especially after losing 5-0 at Arsenal on Tuesday.
Well, you would think it's going to have to be this 11 that are out there right now, Joe. You look at the substitutes bench, not a lot of experience, younger players there as well. He's got a lot of work to do, Pochettino, at half-time.
Mudryk races infield from the left again, thought about a shot, played the pass square instead, intercepted by Douglas Luiz, who stabbed it clear high towards halfway. Again, Chelsea camped inside the Aston Villa half. All 22 players, bar Petrovic, are in the Villa half at the moment. Chelsea from left to right with Madueke driving up the near side, away from Luca Digne. Great pace, Madueke. Digne tracking back. Madueke goes to ground, appeals for a free kick. It would have been right on the edge of the 18-yard box, but those appeals rejected by the assistant, who is in a great position to see it. 2-0 Aston Villa, just under 3 minutes of the 6 added to go.
Well, I think Madueke, he wasn't really appealing for the foul too much there, was he? And looked like he got the better side of Luca Digne. Done pretty well, actually, and he just wondering why he actually went to ground if there was no contact.
And so Aston Villa have a free kick, and ultimately Martinez hasn't had a save to make in the game so far. A square ball to Pau Torres. I think 2 very disappointing goals for Chelsea to concede, as Palmer's touch is heavy. Though the second was a very good finish from Rodgers. Everybody expected him to bend it towards the far corner, instead went near post. Here is Caicedo for Chelsea, 25 yards out, ball up the middle, nowhere near Jackson. Intercepted by Konsa, who strides on a defence, and now Diaby from the halfway line. Quick ball over the top towards Watkins. It eludes his outstretched leg and flies out of play. Chelsea throw in the left back position. They're 2-0 down.
You would think as a defender, Joe, it must be a nightmare to play against Aston Villa, because every single time they get that chance to get their head up around that centre circle, they've got Diaby, Bailey just bursting forward to try and get in behind, and Ollie Watkins, we know how much of a willing runner he is as well, and that's why they're so entertaining to watch.
And here's Thiago Silva inside the centre circle. Square ball to Badiashile. And Thiago Silva again. Hull 1, Ipswich 2. Amari Hutchinson just before half-time for Ipswich. Live right now on TalkSport 2. Here's Cucurella for Chelsea. Infield, didn't reach Gallagher. Poked away by Douglas Luiz. A minute of first half added time to go here. Aston Villa looking to hold on to that 2-0 advantage that they've got. A Chelsea goal before half-time might well change the feel of things. Madueke Madueke, right wing position, barely a yard infield from the near side touchline. He's got beyond two Aston Villa defenders. It's a brilliant run from Madueke, and a low shot near to the box is blocked before he could get anywhere near Martinez. Aston Villa now breaking on the counter-attack, and this is where they look really dangerous. It's 3 against 3. Moussa Diaby's run 40 yards, infield from the left. He's poked it down the middle towards Watkins, and Petrovic, slow to come off his line, eventually collects inside the 6-yard box with Watkins under pressure from Badiashile.
Well, Joe, just looking down on the pitches, Conor Gallagher seems to have a real problem with his knees, just been limping around for the last couple of minutes, and you could see he was really struggling to get back from that break from Aston Villa again, and here they go once more.
We are into the last few seconds of the 6 added. Gallagher, who was caught by that slide tackle of Bailey, wasn't he? Maybe it's a layoff from that. Half-time whistle goes, and Aston Villa's upward momentum continues here. They lead Chelsea by 2 goals to nil at half-time. Chelsea, who've had so much possession, but that defensive vulnerability that we saw away from home at Arsenal, we've seen it throughout the season, exposed again here by ruthless Aston Villa, who scored early an own goal from Marc Cucurella after Luca Digne's cutback had reached John McGinn. He tried to steer it goalwards, mishit it in truth, and it rebounded in off the shin of Cucurella for an early Aston Villa lead. Morgan Rogers added the second late in the first half, picking out the bottom corner, going in at the near post beyond the dive of Petrovic. Sandwiched in between, Nicholas Jackson has had one goal ruled out for offside, and he's had another big opportunity with his head, but could only find the foot of the post. And it really is in some ways the same old story for Chelsea across the course of the season, but Aston Villa are able to potentially create further space between them and Tottenham in the race for the top 4. At half-time, Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 0. And so the Swede, the goalkeeper Olsen, is just getting his black goalkeeping shirt on the near side touchline. He's going to put his gloves back on as well in just a moment, and there'll be confirmation of the change. Martinez goes off at half-time, and Olsen on for his 7th appearance of this season and his 3rd in the Premier League, and as I say, his last was a start away at Manchester City after Martinez fell ill in the warm-up. So Olsen onto the field at half-time for Aston Villa, and look, he's a very experienced goalkeeper, there's no question, but that is a little disruptive, isn't it, Mickey Gray? As a former defender, you'd know that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great opportunity for Robin Olsen. You just hope that Martinez is going to be okay for the remaining games of the season, but yeah, absolutely, he's got experience, and if it was anything like the first half, then he probably won't get tested too many times, Joe.
No, Aston Villa lead Chelsea by 2 goals to nil. Chelsea have been wasteful in terms of the possession that they've had, and they kicked the game off playing from right to left in the second half. Chelsea all in royal blue, no changes for them. Direct running down the right from Madueke, scampered beyond 4 Aston Villa players. Luca Digne came across, and the decision from the assistant in the end is goal kick, but that was an enterprising run from Madueke, and actually Unai Emery nearly missed that Chelsea opportunity, walking out late from the tunnel just to our left, and now he takes the 30-40 yard walk along the touchline towards the technical area, and he's applauded by Aston Villa fans. We're in the lower tier of the Trinity Road side of the ground, left of centre, so deep inside the half that Chelsea are attacking in the second half, all in royal blue, and Aston Villa in claret and sky blue, white shorts and sky blue socks, playing from left to right towards the Holt end in the second half. I'll give you both sets of 11s and the subs in just a moment, but Chelsea with purpose to begin the second half. Here's Thiago Silva, 10 yards into Aston Villa territory. Back it goes to Chalobah, and this pattern of play, everybody inside the Villa half with Chelsea in possession, was repeated throughout the first period. Dinked over the top now towards Nicholas Jackson, the angle tight. Jackson down by the dead ball line, thought about the shot, instead pulls it back to Madueke, corner of the penalty area, skips beyond Rogers, deflected cross, and then Cucurella on his weaker side, right-footed, scored an own goal in the first half, and never looked likely. Clumsy right-footed effort to reducing the deficit early on in the second. It's 2-0 to Aston Villa, and here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, a full-back shot, I think we call that one, Joe, from Cucurella. But
who scored a few?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think we call it the swinger because he took a shot with his right foot, and let's be honest, didn't really threaten the goal at all, did it? But it has been a positive start for Chelsea, I have to say. And Unai Emery would have been a little bit disappointed if Chelsea had got that early goal in this second half as he was coming out of that tunnel.
Aston Villa looking for a return to European football's top table for the first time since the early 1980s. Palmer for Chelsea, 2-0 down, infield from the right into a central position, whips in cross, headed away by Cash, diving header from Cash to prevent it from reaching Mykhailo Mudryk, and then Madueke has won it back off a sloppy piece of defending from Rodgers, and then Madueke weaved his way into the penalty area, went down into the challenge. There's a bit of finger wagging from Pau Torres towards Madueke. Wasn't happy that he went to ground so easily. Goal kick in the end is the decision of the referee Craig Pawson.
Well, it was very similar in the first half from Madueke. If there was no contact yet again, he has started really bright in this second half, but there's not enough there to give a foul or anything. You can see why Pau Torres is a little bit frustrated with him. Just stay on your feet and show us how good you are with that left foot.
Aston Villa heading 9 points clear of Tottenham in the race for fourth spot as it stands. Chelsea on the back pedal. Cucurella facing his own goal under pressure from Bailey. Has to roll it all the way back to goalkeeper Petrovic. It's Olsen in goal for Aston Villa now, the half-time sub. Cash, Konsa, Pau Torres and Luca Digne at the back, with McGinn and Douglas Luiz in holding roles, and Douglas Luiz now going head-to-head with Caicedo, and a yellow card straight out of the pocket of the referee. Jackson is getting involved, Madueke and Watkins having his say. Yellow card for Caicedo as well, and a free kick to Chelsea just shy of the halfway line.
Well, maybe they should show a little bit more of this fight, Joe. I don't mind that. A bit more aggression from Chelsea. I'll say they've come out in this second half. What does concern me when I do see them and they have that possession, they've got every outfield player in Aston Villa's half. It's a really high line, and it just takes that one mistake, that pass that doesn't go and catch your teammate, and Aston Villa, they'll pounce on that. They'll get themselves on the front foot. We know how good they are on the counter. Certainly something to look out for.
No win in their last 4 away games for Chelsea. So Luiz and McGinn in the holding roles for Aston Villa. Bailey to the right, Rodgers to the left, and Diaby in behind Watkins. Chelsea, Petrovic in goal, and Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Badiashile and Cucurella, who is playing in an inverted role when Chelsea had possession. Mudryk and Madueke, the wing players, with the three in midfield, Caicedo and Gallagher deepest, and Palmer in support of Nicholas Jackson. Good noise from the Chelsea supporters who occupy sections of the two-tiered dugout stand on the far side of the field. But it's been a glum week for Chelsea, hasn't it? 5-0 away at Arsenal, which followed a defeat in the semi-finals of the FA Cup against Manchester City, and now 2-0 down away at Aston Villa. Chelsea's slim hopes of European football themselves absolutely nowhere near the top 4 Chelsea, and ironic cheers from the Aston Villa fans as Mykhailo Mudryk can't control on the near side. Aston Villa throw right back position, and Villa in control live on Talk Sport 5 minutes into the second half.
Well, it's so poor, isn't it, from Mudryk? Lovely little crossfield ball there from Cole Palmer, and all Mudryk's got to do is just bring that ball down, control it, and he's in a 1v1 situation, just takes his eye off the ball. I talked in the first half about the concentration of some of the players in that blue shirt, and certainly saw it with Mudryk there.
Palmer glides infield from the far side, the right. Floodlights on, very chilly for late April here at Villa Park. About 7 degrees as Konsa brings the ball down on the edge of his own penalty area. Cash will roll it back to goalkeeper Olsen, his first real touch. Olsen clears the ball up towards the midway points of the Villa half, and Bailey, who can't bring it down in front of the much taller, more powerful Badiashile, and Badiashile is tripped by the retreating Diaby, and that's a free kick to Chelsea in a dangerous position. Near side there left, it's dead level with our commentary position, about 7 or 8 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Conor Gallagher stands over it, Thiago Silva, Chalobah, Badiashile, Jackson are all in there.
And this is where you do need the quality, which was certainly lacking in that first half. In a similar position, Cole Palmer didn't beat that first man. He came over, whether he takes this free kick or not, the quality has to be there.
Will it be Gallagher or will it be Palmer to take the free kick? You feel it would favour the in-swinging right boot of Palmer. He's got a couple of the very youthful Chelsea subs standing right behind him. 52nd minute. No, it'll be left to Palmer. Left-footed, high towards the penalty spot, jumping header away by Pau Torres. Then a miscue slice on the volley from Madueke, and the clearance from Diaby up towards the halfway line. Unai Emery stands with his arms folded. Aston Villa start their Conference League semi-final, the first leg against Olympiacos on TalkSport 2 on Thursday night. Chelsea against Tottenham over on TalkSport. make sure you download up our app to swipe between both stations as and when you need. We've got football every day of the week next week, Monday to Sunday inclusive. Here's Madueke, great control, and he darts forward down the right. He's one-on-one with Luca Digne. He's into the penalty area, onto that left foot. Madueke just wide. Couple of yards wide of the near post as we look at it. Olsen was absolutely statuesque. Had that been on target, it would have been 2-1.
Well, I have to say, he's certainly been the bright spot, Madueke, on that right-hand side. He's looked a real live wire. They've got to get him involved in the game. Certainly a lot more in his second half, but he looks really bright. He's taken on his full-back, looks a real threat. I probably have to say, it's as close as Chelsea have come.
Absolutely. They still trail by 2-0. I mean, I suppose Jackson with the header off the post, I mean, that should go in. But certainly since then, that's as good as it's got for Chelsea, who haven't tested either Aston Villa goalkeeper today. Martinez taken off at half-time with Olsen coming into the side. Chelsea playing from right to left towards that two-tiered north stand. Aston Villa fans on their feet in the lower tier behind the goal. Chelsea again on the ball and trying to get on the attack, but lacking that refinement in their play, that incisiveness in the final third ultimately to conjure up a goal and get themselves back into the game. Still Hull 1, Ipswich 2 in the Championship. A blow to Hull's playoff aspirations. Ipswich heading second above Leeds United. The final day of the Championship season, where there could be so much to play for. Certainly will be in the relegation fight and the playoff picture, and very much potentially in the race for second place as well. Next Saturday on TalkSport 2. Madueke bursts into the box for Chelsea. Right hand side, he's down by the dead ball line. He's held up by Douglas Luiz. Pops it back to Jackson. Little layoff to Madueke again. Right in front of the Chelsea fans. Left footed in swinging cross. Headed away by Pau Torres. Just nudges it clear with his head to Digne, who's flicked it over the head cleverly of Madueke. And then a lovely crossfield pass by Rodgers to the near side. Bailey controls, and here's Matty Cash. Great confidence flowing through this Aston Villa team. You can tell they're aside enjoying themselves as McGinn with a long pass high up the middle. Well dealt with by Chalobah coming across. And Chelsea have it yet again. All of the play in the half to our left. Jackson again 10 yards shy of the corner of the penalty area. The nerves will begin to fray if Chelsea can get themselves back in it here. As Caicedo rifles one, and it's good handling by Olsen to clutch that into his chest. And a quick throw out to the near side, and Bailey. 55 minutes gone, 2-0 to Aston Villa. Bailey evades the challenge of Cucurella. Cucurella hassling and harrying him, snapping at his heels, forces Bailey to go back into his own territory. Aston Villa keep possession.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Chelsea are getting themselves into better positions, which is why they've had a lot of effort so far in this second half. Just that killer instinct, that's the only thing that's missing from them. If they can get one and get themselves back into this game.
Bailey reverse ball over the top is miles over hit up the inside right channel. No way that Diaby could get to that. Petrovic, all in yellow, is easily able to collect outside his box, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Emery frenetic on the near side touchline. 9 major trophies in his managerial career, and he'll have the chance to make it 10 before the end of the season if Aston Villa can reach the Europa Conference League final. Forward by Thiago Silva into the centre circle, and Jackson, who peels away from John McGinn. Jackson central position is beyond Douglas Luiz. It's a good run. Pokes it wide to Madueke. Madueke gets to the dead ball line, flicks in the cross, right-footed, high to the back post, over hits. Ultimately, it'll be gathered by Bailey deep inside his own half the field, helping out defensively, and he's managed to cut the ball into the feet of McGinn brilliantly there, Bailey. Almost a reverse pass out of defence, and Aston Villa keep very calm and composed on the ball. McGinn peels off Caicedo, rolls it to the left, and Digne. Where's Madueke? He's not really tracking back with any great gusto. Digne's ball in field. It's reached Morgan Rodgers. His touch is heavy, and Chalobah's there to intercept for Chelsea, who can now look to break up field themselves, though it's a little leaden-footed from Caicedo. Centre circle, floats it long eventually towards Jackson. Covering is Esri Konsa. Aston Villa lead 2-0. They've got possession back.
Well, just having a look at Unai Emery, Joe, and you're right, he's very irate, isn't he, in this second half? He's frustrated because his players are not doing what he wants them to do. They're giving the ball away cheaply. That final ball's not working for them in the second half, which is why they've had to drop a lot deeper than where they were in the first 45 minutes, and that's where Chelsea's getting a lot of joy now.
Sheffield United relegated from the Premier League today. Defeat for Luton at Wolves, keeps them in the bottom three. Forest home to Manchester City tomorrow, and that game in the North London derby we'll keep you up to date with on the Sunday session on Talk Sport. Elsewhere today, Everton beat Brentford. Both clubs are now safe from relegation. West Ham 2, Liverpool 2. Liverpool stay third. Fulham 1, Palace 1, and Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. Burnley 19th, but a useful point for them in the relegation battle. Hull 2, Ipswich 2 in the Championship. Liam Delap, so Hull come from behind again, and Ipswich drop out of the top two summarily as a result. Live on Talk Sport 2 right now. Cole Palmer for Chelsea, corner of the area, infield onto his left foot. The shot is blocked by Luca Digne. They've dealt with the threat of Palmer very effectively in the game, Aston Villa, but there must be some concern. The amount of possession that Chelsea are having, the half openings they're creating, we haven't even reached the hour mark yet.
Yeah, and it's strange, isn't it? Because it's got a feel of Aston Villa are hanging on, but Chelsea are not asking enough questions in the final third. They've got to get, as they are right now, Madueke on the ball on that right-hand side.
Chance for Chalobah with the white boots on, lays it square towards Palmer, takes a deflection off Pau Torres, and it rolls behind for a corner to Chelsea in front of the away fans on the far side of the field, and that allows Chelsea to send plenty forward in royal blue. I make that the first corner of the game. First corner for either team, would you believe it? 59 minutes in. Palmer will take it. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. One all up into the air. Here it comes, the delivery, swinging high towards the edge of the six-yard box. Thiago Silva's header at the near post and blocked by the chest of Cash, who diverts it behind for a second corner to Chelsea in quick succession.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great run, isn't it, from Thiago Silva? He's unmarked, just to the edge of the 6-yard area. It's a tight angle, I have to say. Matty Cash, I don't know whether he got a shout there from Robin Olsen just to leave that one, because it would have been a simple save for the keeper. The fullback's done the right thing. He's reacted and just cleared his lines.
Again, Holt embers in the sky, echoes around Villa Park. There is a slight nervousness among the home supporters, even though Aston Villa lead by 2-0. Chelsea certainly territorially threatening again in the second half. Gallagher, the captain, to take this corner right in front of us. Right-footed in swinger this time, high to the far post. Goalkeeper Alston takes it well. Was he fouled by Chalobah? He was. Free kick given to Olsen and Aston Villa. I think he had the ball in between his two hands there, the goalkeeper, and he was barged into.
But they might have a problem here, Joe, if he doesn't get himself back to his feet. I think he's going to be okay, Robin Olsen. Well, he took a big thump in the side there. You can see he's holding on to it. I mean, he has got himself back to his feet, and we hope he's going to be okay. But because they've made that substitution, I don't think they've got another spare goalkeeper on the bench, have they? I know Chelsea have got two, but Villa certainly only had the one.
That's a good point, Nicky. The remaining Villa subs, Longley, Irobanam, Chambers, Duran, Diego Carlos, Kellyman and Kessler Hayden. No second substitute goalkeeper. Miscue by Chalobah in the right back position, but he gets in front of Ollie Watkins. Shows good pace there, Chalobah, to poke it back to Petrovic. Watkins has had a couple of sights of goal, but from tight angles, side netting, and the goalkeeper's made one good stop for Chelsea. Now a foul by Cash on Jackson, right in front of the Chelsea dugout. Mauricio Pochettino and Jesus Perez, arms up into the air. Perez, the assistant to Pochettino. Now Palmer crosses halfway, right of centre for Chelsea. Quick ball to the feet of Madueke. Tripped surely by Pau Torres, right in front of the referee. Obvious free kick to Chelsea. And that's what, Mickey, we're talking probably 30 yards or so from goal here, right of centre.
Yeah, it's probably just a little bit too far out for Gallagher or Cole Palmer to maybe take the direct shot on. So I think we'll probably see this one maybe drifted towards the far stick. But they're getting into better positions now, Chelsea. That's a couple of silly fouls that Aston Villa have given away, which is give the opportunity for Chelsea to put that ball into the box.
On 10:89 and 10:53am, DAB on the app or via smart speaker. You're with Talk Sport. Free kick to Chelsea, who are 2-0 down, right of centre. Gallagher to the right, takes it to find Madueke. Corner of the penalty area, trying to twist and turn beyond Luca Digne again. Fascinating battle in the second half there. Back it goes to Gallagher, whips in the right-footed cross. Here comes Olsen, gathers it well again. First real test for the goalkeeper since he took a big knock, and he took a half knock there, I think. Not happy with the referee, Olsen. Tattoos down his arms, and there's a little word from Olsen for Jackson, but he's big, the goalkeeper, and he reached really high to collect it from the sky.
Well, There's no doubt about it. He's in the wars, Robin Olsen, isn't he? He's gone to ground then. Getting very close, I have to say.
Oh, Douglas Luiz has lost out. Gallagher in the penalty area. Madueke rolls it into the bottom corner. Chelsea are back in it now. Gallagher went down. I think he was appealing for a penalty kick, but it ran nicely for Noni Madueke, who has been the danger man in the second half. Pinpoint snapshot, low left-footed into the bottom corner, away from the dive of Olsen, and Aston Villa are punished for being passive in the second half, and Chelsea have got a foothold here. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1.
Well, we've got a game on our hands now. We talked about Aston Villa in this second 45 minutes and the lack of concentration, giving the ball away, really sloppy in their own half. Can't do that with the quality that Chelsea have got. We talked about being clinical. Their best player, in my eyes, in Madueke. It falls to him perfectly in that 18-yard box, and it's a lovely finish.
First goal since scoring away from home at Sheffield United for Madueke, and Chelsea deservedly back in it. And here's Madueke again. He's racing up the middle here. Can he get the shot in? Oh, surely fouled by Rodgers, and the referee does give the free kick right on the edge of the area. That'll be a yellow card for Morgan Rodgers. Madueke was right in shooting range there. The ball is sticking to his feet like glue at the moment, Madueke. Such deft, nimble footwork to dart up the middle, tripped right on the edge of the D. Chelsea free kick within shooting range, and Aston Villa, they've got to be very careful here.
Well, it just feels like the game's slipping away from Aston Villa at the moment. They're giving the opportunity to Chelsea to break through the lines, and Madueke, full of confidence. It's the right decision. It is a foul. It's silly from Rodgers. And we talked about the free kick a moment ago, Joe, which was a little bit too far out for that direct shot. Well, this one is on the D at the edge of the 18-yard box, and you can see players stood around the ball, their eyes have been lit up.
It's a slither to the left of centre of the edge of the D, but I'm sure Palmer will fancy it nonetheless. And it's the Chelsea fans frenetically waving their arms up into the air, chanting the name of their club in jubilation. 2-1 to Aston Villa, but really a great sense of jeopardy in the game now. Aston Villa, remember, want to keep winning to pull further clear of Tottenham in the race for the top four. Tottenham will have 3 games in hand on Villa by the end of tonight, albeit Tottenham do have some tough fixtures between now and the end of the season. Free kick here to Chelsea, very much within shooting range. Will it be Gallagher? Will it be Palmer? Referee Craig Pawson blows his whistle. Here comes Palmer, left-footed, low and wide. He tried to drill it towards the far post, other side where the wall was, and it streaks wide of goal and harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Aston Villa have got to pick it up though, Mickey Gray.
They have, and listen to that crowd urging them on. They want to get an extra 10 or 15% out of the players, but what a let-off that is. I mean, Cole Palmer, he's not really got his shooting boots on, I have to say, in this game. He's just pulled that one real. I mean, he should be hitting the target or, the walls in front of him. Just try and blasted it through him. Maybe it would have been better for Conor Gallagher.
Here is Cole Palmer now, though. Central possession, edge of the D. Tried to spray the ball wide towards the left, and he was blocked off by both Luiz and McGinn sliding in. Now Bavely has bravely beaten Caicedo to the ball. Caicedo's gone down. He's hurt. And then there was a foul by Chalobah on Morgan Rodgers. And the Aston Villa bench are furious about that. Words in the ear of the fourth official. The first foul was on Caicedo. The referee eventually has stopped the play here. Yellow card for Leon Bailey, so surely that'll be a free kick for Chelsea, but he shouldn't have let play continue there, Craig Pawson, because eventually Rodgers was tripped by Chalobah.
Well, this is interesting, Joe, because that second foul was a lot worse from Chalobah than the first initial foul. But Craig Pawson was looking at the player on the ground, and Chalobah got away with one there because he didn't actually see the foul, which is why he gave the initial free kick to Chelsea.
Aston Villa 9 points clear in fourth at the moment. Midway through the second half on TalkSport, where every game matters, particularly between now and the end of the season. So much jeopardy to come. Palmer standing over the free kick. He'll take it left-footed, dinked high into the penalty area, headed away by Pau Torres, drops down to Chalobah. The ball ricochets off his head by the clearance of Luca Digne. They've both gone down here, and the referee stopped the game. The ball is in the hands of the Villa goalkeeper Olsen. I have to admit, Mickey, I didn't actually see what happened to Luca Digne there. Was it a ricochet off his head as well?
Well, they've come together. The ball's actually ricocheted off Chalabar's head. I mean, he's got himself back to his feet here, but I think there was just contact with the end of his toe as they're both going for the ball. Yeah, just an unfortunate matter, really. But there's a sense now, there's a bit of nervousness in this stadium, isn't there, Joe? You can feel it because
absolutely.
I mean, Chelsea have got themselves back into the game. Look, they had to get better in this second half, and they certainly have done so. But Aston Villa are really surprising me. Look, and not a lot of possession in that first half, but they're really struggling to get out of their own half in this second 45 minutes.
We'll get the physios on now. Pochettino speaking with the assistant on the near side, actually. Aston Villa are going to have to get the physios on. Digne has gone down on the corner of the area, and here they come now. What a day it's been on the TalkSport network. We brought you the final days of League 1 and 2. Derby up to the Championship. Oxford and Barnsley joining Bolton and Peterborough in the playoffs. Cheltenham relegated today in League 2. Sutton have fallen out of the Football League. Colchester have survived. And Doncaster, Crewe and Crawley joining MK Dons in the playoff positions. The Championship final day, as I say, will be live with us next Saturday lunchtime. And there's a relegation battle involving Birmingham, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn. Huddersfield effectively down because of their inferior goal difference. The playoff fight will go to the last day, and potentially the race for automatic promotion too. At the moment, Hull 2, Ipswich 2, so it's Leicester promoted top of the Championship, Leeds still second and Ipswich behind them on goal difference. We've got live football Monday to Sunday next week on the network. The Championship, as I say, the Premier League, with Luton against Everton kick-starting the weekend on Friday night. We've got Champions League, Aston Villa in the Conference League, Chelsea-Tottenham on Thursday. It is all happening as Ipswich retake the lead at Hull. A second for Amari Hutchinson. 3-2. They never do it the easy way, Ipswich. And just as I speak, they're back into second. Unbelievable. Now then, after all of that delay, Aston Villa restart the game. Luca Digne is waiting to come back on. They're temporarily down to 10. Digne back on the field. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1. What do we got coming up in the last 21 minutes, Mickey Gray, as Chelsea win a free kick in the right back position?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a bit more brighter from Aston Villa. What really surprised me when Luca Digne was on the ground, normally you'd get the manager, if things aren't going well for you, just to pull a couple of his players across to him, just to say, look, this is what I need from you. We're giving the ball away too sloppily in this second half. We've got to try and get our forward players involved in the game a lot more, because they're just giving all of the impetus to Chelsea at the moment, and they're enjoying themselves, and they can sense an equaliser, there's no question of that.
Chelsea have been the dominant team in the second half in particular, without any question at all. And I think they've looked more dangerous overall, Mickey. And they've got 20 minutes plus added time to find an equaliser here that would potentially hurt Aston Villa's Champions League hopes. They are the favourites to beat Spurs to it, but you never know. Here's Gallagher, centre position, midway inside the Aston Villa half. He controlled it on his chest. Gallagher drives towards the corner of the penalty area. To his right is Madueke. Back to Gallagher on the dead ball line. He's faced up by Pau Torres, who forces him away from goal. Now Madueke finds Gallagher again, 5 yards from the corner of the box. Madueke, the goal scorer, takes up possession once more, feeds Chalobah 10 yards further back, and now Badiashile. No need for Chelsea to really defend in this second half up to this point. The centre halves are acting as almost holding midfield players again. Everybody bar Petrovic in the Aston Villa half at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a couple of changes as well, Joe. It's certainly that time in the game, isn't it? Caicedo looks as if he's really struggling in that centre circle at the moment, limping around as well, and just see a few Aston Villa players are just being waved back into the technical area. They need a bit of a spark, Villa, I have to say. Been really scrappy from them in this second half.
So Caicedo may yet leave the field, but it's Villa who seem to have a bit of activity going on the near side touchline at the moment. The ball is back with Thiago Silva. Now Mudryk, the 10. wearing number 10. Infield from the near side, the left, into a central position. Sets up Conor Gallagher, controlled it well on the stretch. Back out wide towards Midrick, who spins and turns away from Leon Bailey. Darts infield onto his right side. Reverse ball to Cucurella, who's pulled it back. Heavy touch by Morgan Rogers, got to be careful. Caicedo slides in to win it back, firm but fair. Caicedo into the area, pokes it on to Noni Madueke. The angle is tight. Saved by Alston, who beats it away with his right hand. Pushed the ball clear. And Aston Villa steer it upfield with Rogers towards Watkins, who's won a throw in the left back position. Big chance for Chelsea.
Well, Madueke, for me, he's got to go with his right foot, Joe. I think he goes with his wrong foot. He's tried to play that across the 6-yard area with the outside of his left foot when it was a simple pass with his right foot just to play in one of his teammates. And just prior to that, Cucurella down the left-hand side, he can play the ball in behind Aston Villa's back line, and it's a simple tap-in for one of the forward players. He tries to be cute and play it back to the penalty spot. There's nobody there at all waiting for it, but the alarm bells must be ringing at Aston Villa. There's no doubt about it, because they're not performing at the moment and they look really shaky.
72 minutes have been played. 2-1 to Aston Villa. Alston's got to be careful. The goalkeeper back pass rolling almost right along his goal line. That was a nervy moment. McGinn collects the ball midway inside his own half the field. Back to Ezri Konsa. Very calm. Breaking in between the lines is Rogers into the centre circle. 3 forward in support of Morgan Rogers. He's gone down the middle. Then he plays it wide to Bailey. The Villa fans on their feet. Bailey into the box. No effort is spilled by the goalkeeper. And Thiago Silva facing his own goal. Smuggles it behind for a corner. That was poor handling from Petrovic, and it nearly led to a third Villa goal.
Yeah, he had to do better, Petrovic, with his strike. It was low, it was next to him. He's got to just try and parry that, and Thiago Silva eventually does very well, because Ollie Watkins, very, very bright, just tries to nick it to the side to one of his teammates. Couldn't quite get it there, but that's better from Aston Villa.
Diego Carlos and Tim Irobanam are going to come on for Aston Villa, who have a corner at the Holt end. Away to our right. Seen very little of Villa as an attacking force in the second half. Pau Torres is up for the corner. Konsa is there as well. Rogers lurking too. Corner taken short by Luca Digne. He'll get it back from Bailey. Chance for a better angle for the cross from the Frenchman. Here it comes, left-footed, diving header away by Thiago Silva. Wasn't the best ball in, given Digne's prowess from that sort of position. Then a high diagonal ball, pump crossfield, right to left by Cash. It's completely miscontrolled. All too casual from Douglas Luiz. Out of play. Chelsea throw, right back position. So it's going to be Diego Carlos for Bailey. And Irobanam making his 12th appearance this season. The 20-year-old. An increased role at Aston Villa over recent times. He'll replace Douglas Luiz. Right then, Mickey, what's going to be the thinking here for Unai Emery?
Well, I think it's just he had to make those changes just to give them a little bit of a spark. You can see Douglas Luiz, I think is he going back into a defensive position here? I don't know whether it's a change in system or not. Advenant coming on as well. I think he'll go into that midfield area just to give him a little bit more legs. Douglas Luiz, one of the players who's just come off. I mean, that diagonal pass maybe summed it up for him, Joe. He's got nobody around him. The ball just drifts underneath his foot. You can see they look a little bit leggy, don't they?
Well, it's not unusual for Matty Cash to push forward almost into a right wing position, which he has done here. Konsa certainly to the right of the three. Right back, I think now, Konsa, and Irobanam into the middle where Douglas Luiz was. Big defender Diego Carlos at the back. Chelsea in possession. 15 minutes plus added time to go. Chelsea heading for a 12th defeat of the league season. Aston Villa heading for a 21st victory. That would equal their most in a Premier League campaign. Again, 92-93 when they finished second. The ball is on the halfway line. Cash has won it with a cushioned header in front of Cucurella, backpedaling, and now Rogers looking to dart infield. He's blocked off. Slide tackle from Irobanam on Gallagher having just come on. Free kick to Chelsea midway inside their own half of the field. Here is Gallagher. They played some nice football, Chelsea, in the second half, and they've got one goal back, but that's not enough at the moment.
Yeah, they've got to keep pushing, haven't they, Chelsea? Got to wait for their opportunities, patient at times, but when they do get into that final third, that's when they've got to spring into life. And no doubt about it, certainly give them really confidence, that goal to get themselves back into the game. But who's searching for that second one? Who's got the quality to do it?
Kukurea left of centre, 5 yards to the edge of the box. He's played it wide to Mudryk. Mudryk infield, dinks the cross in right-footed, headed away. It'll drop down to Madueke, scrambled clear by Diego Carlos, not very far. McGinn backpedaling, has to scoop it clear. He's ended up on his backside, and Chelsea have won it back. Mudryk is 20 yards from goal. Sliding in is McGinn with a firm but robust and fair challenge. Badiashile likewise to win it back off Matty Cash. Left wing position for Chelsea, who are 2-1 down. Kukurea collects the ball. He's run along the edge of the 18-yard line. Tees up Palmer. Palmer curls it just wide. And I don't think Alston got a particularly good look at that, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. And had that been on target, it could well have been 2-2.
Well, there's no doubt Cole Palmer's certainly getting closer towards the goal now, Joe, isn't he? I mean, it's good play from Chelsea to win the ball high up. Opportunity to get that ball into the box, and you can see the Villa players, they've really struggled, I have to say, Joe, in this second half. I think you can count on one hand how many times they've actually got out their own half. They've been really poor.
They have dropped the fewest points from winning positions in the Premier League this season, Aston Villa. Only 5. Chelsea threatening to increase that tally as McGinn has to let the ball run across his body checked by Gallagher. Free kick given by the referee, and Maurizio Pochettino turns away, arms outstretched in frustration at that decision.
Well, Robin Olsen's a very lucky man, the goalkeeper, because he was panicking a little bit on a couple of occasions. He's let the ball run across his goal at times, but he's tried to play the ball out from the back, and I don't actually think he was looking for John McGinn. He got away one with again another cheap foul, but just got to be patient a little bit over the next few minutes, Aston Villa. Grow into the game a little bit more.
It's Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Tottenham against Arsenal, Forest against Man City tomorrow. Contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. The ball is on the halfway line again. Chelsea have possession now. Thiago Silva. He's played it square to his right, and Chalobah. And Chalobah feeds Palmer. Palmer dropping out to the right wing position in front of the Chelsea fans. They're trying to urge him forward. And Chelsea have still got slim hopes of some sort of European football, but they're rapidly running out of games. A win would have taken them 8th tonight, starting the evening 7 points off 6th position. We have a couple of games in hand on West Ham, but time is against Chelsea in the season now. Chelsea and Pochettino. Here is Jackson dropping deep. Up to the midway point of the Aston Villa half. He gets the return ball from Madueke, burst into the box, but his touch was heavy. That allowed Pau Torres to come across on the cover and knock it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too far in front of him, wasn't it? And Nicholas Jackson there, good little move again. A little give and go, showed his pace.
Dinked forward by Badiashile, way too much on that, ball floated. It is curving, arcing from left to right, and Luca Digne's had to keep it in by the corner flag, and he plays it forward 10 yards or so to Rodgers, whose goal is going to be the winner at the moment. Rodgers is into his own box under great pressure from Palmer, who I thought showed good tenacity to win it back, but the referee thought it was a foul again, Mickey.
Well, just look at the reaction from Cole Palmer. I think he's really frustrated. He was very clever. He stayed on his feet. Rodgers didn't really know where to go with the ball. Looked as if he started to panic. Very, very soft free kick.
One of the problems from Maurizio Pochettino at the moment is that he's not really got much to bring off the bench. Those 5 teenagers among the Chelsea subs tonight. And you've got Disasi and Cassidy and Gilchrist. Here is Jackson racing up the middle. He's away from Iropanam. He's reached the edge of the area. He slips there, Jackson, under the challenge of Iropanam. No foul given by the referee, and I think rightly so that time. Now McGinn has stomped it high up the middle. Headed away by Thiago Silva. Watkins hasn't had a sniff in the second half. It's Villa 2, Chelsea 1. 10 minutes to go on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Madueke with those silky feet. Infield to the edge of the penalty area, and Conor Gallagher left-footed. Conor Gallagher with a magnificent goal to draw Chelsea level. The captain has struck left-footed into the top corner. Villa didn't close him down, and Gallagher made them pay. And how? Aston Villa Villa 2, Chelsea 2. Chelsea deserve it.
Oh my goodness, what an absolutely super strike from Conor Gallagher. It came out of nowhere, but what you have to say is Aston Villa have tried to soak up as much pressure as they possibly could in this second half, and it's just been an onslaught from Chelsea. They've been knocking on the door, they've got themselves back into the game, but that's a super strike to get themselves back on level terms. Absolutely fantastic.
Villa have been too passive and Chelsea are level. You have to credit Chelsea for the character to come back against a side who, as I say, when they take the lead, usually get the job done. But now Chelsea want to win it. So Aston Villa would be 7 points clear of Tottenham in the race for fourth, but Tottenham would have 3 games in hand, and it just opens the door a bit for Spurs, a result like this. And Chelsea play Tottenham on Thursday, live on TalkSport. Cash has won it back for Villa, barged over by Mudryk, had to be a foul. Yellow card for Mudryk, right in front of the Chelsea dugout that. Villa, as a swirling wind blows through Villa Park, are going to get John Duran on.
Yeah, well, they need that change, Joe, because it's not happening for Aston Villa. You felt like that goal was coming for Chelsea. You know, they've knocked on the door on a couple of occasions. They get themselves into much better positions down the flanks. But when that ball fell to Conor Gallagher, he wasn't pressed enough. He had so much time, looked on his weaker left foot, and he thought, why not? I'm going to take the shot on, and it's curled past Robin Olsen in that Aston Villa goal. I mean, he's came for a couple of crosses, Olsen, but other than that, you know, he's not really had to do a lot other than pick the ball out the back of the net on 2 occasions.
So it's Duran for Diaby. The sub is subbed, and here comes big John Duran, who is a considerable presence and can be an effective finisher as well, and he's gone up front alongside Watkins here. 6 goals for the season for Duran. 2-2 at Villa Park on TalkSport. The Chelsea comeback has been coming. 2 in the second half for them, and they're level with 7 minutes to go plus added time here. And at the moment Chelsea look favourites to go on and win the game. Aston Villa have won a throw, heavy touch by Badiashile. It's deep inside the Chelsea half and it'll be left to Cash. He's going to hurl this in long. The signal's been sent to Pau Torres to come forward here. There's a lot of area ability in this Aston Villa team. Pau Torres has got in front of the goalkeeper now. Watkins and Diego Carlos is there as well. Rodgers at the back post, and Duran on the edge of the area makes a late darting run to the near side in towards Diego Carlos, headed away, comes out to Contra on the hard volley. Screamer about 3-4 yards over the top.
Well, that's what you want to see more from Aston Villa, getting themselves into better areas, albeit Contra coming up from the back. But the forward players have hardly touched the ball in this second half, and it's all Chelsea, and you're right, Joe, they look like the side who are going to go on and win this football match.
So 2-2 on TalkSport. Betfair, our official betting partner in Premier League football, have the latest odds. I'll give you those in a second as Villa win it back to him again. Little backhill by Watkins, and he can't set up the run of Rodgers. Chelsea on the break. Aston Villa to win at 9-2, Chelsea to win at 3-1, or back the draw at 7-4 on. And don't forget Betfair paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute payout. Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+ BigGambleAware.org. Jackson for Chelsea, 30 yards out, right of centre. Chelsea fans on the far side are urging him on. It's 2-2. Madueke, he's got beyond Digne, down by the corner flag. Eventually Digne recovers, almost from ending up sitting down at first. Digne tries to dive in on Madueke, and over the edge of the area. Chelsea do look an enterprising team at times. That's why they're so maddening to watch. It's the defending that is the problem, and occasionally not taking their chances, but when they do, they're very effective. Gallagher back to Madueke, wide to the right hand side. Chelsea building here with Chalobah, back to Conor Gallagher, corner of the area. He floats in the cross over the head of Jackson, only half away. Mudryk can't bring it down, smuggled away by Conser. Aston Villa defending very nervously here. Duran though has played it forward to him again, and now they're on the counter. Matty Cash just shy of halfway. Good first touch to take it in his stride, but Badiashile slides in to win it back for Chelsea. 2-2, less than 5 plus added time to go, and now Mudryk left of centre. He's threaded it to his left, and Jackson attacking the corner of the area. Jackson's shot rifled into the chest of Diego Carlos for a corner to Chelsea.
Well, there's no doubt about it. That strike from Jackson was 100%. It was travelling. Great play from Chelsea again, winning the ball up higher. I I think we've seen both sides of Chelsea today, haven't we? First half and second half, naive in the first 45 minutes, but this is what they can produce.
This is where you see real encouragement under Pochettino. Palmer will take the corner for Chelsea. It'll be a left-footed out-swinging delivery into the near post. Only half cleared. Badiashile couldn't control it on the penalty spot almost. And John McGinn is tearing forward up to the halfway line. Now then, that's a cynical foul from Thiago Silva on halfway. And a yellow card for Thiago Silva. Knew that he was beaten for pace from McGinn. And he just stuck out a leg and brought him down to the halfway line. 2-2.
Clever free kick to give away, wasn't it, from Thiago Silva, albeit John McGinn had a lot of work to do. Started to run into that opposition's half, but he had no backup. Thiago Silva just give his teammates a little bit of a breather, to be honest with you, but I think Unai Emery, he's got to try and pass a little bit of information onto his players. I mean, he keeps asking them to relax and calm themselves down. I think the opposite. I think they've got to get themselves at it more.
Here is Concept spraying the ball wide to the near side of Watkins. Watkins came square for it. Concept back to the halfway line in the end, and Diego Carlos. Square ball to Pau Torres in the 87th minute here. Chelsea have come from 2-0 down and it's 2-2. Luca Digne evolved into a really exciting game, hasn't it, Mickey, in the end?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've certainly come to the party in the second half. Chelsea, no doubt about it. Whatever Pochettino said to his players in that half-time dressing room, it certainly had an impact.
With a left to right towards the Holt end, the claret and blue. Back it goes to Conser, and now McGinn is just inside the Chelsea half. His turn. Conor Gallagher, he has escaped the attentions of Gallagher. Wide right is Cash. Cash is low ball in. What a chance for Watkins. Right footed over the top. He had the game on his right foot, and it's high into the Holt end.
Yeah, it feels like it's been that kind of evening, hasn't it, for Ollie Watkins? He's waited for the perfect opportunity, and it's not really worked out for him. Great play, great build-up play from Villa down that right-hand side. Good from John McGinn. Lovely little ball in from Matty Cash. Well, the confidence that Ollie Watkins has got, I have to say, I expected more. That's a good opportunity for the forward.
And Thiago Silva's down inside the 6-yard box, so here come the Chelsea physios now onto the field just to check on Thiago Silva. We'll have quite a bit of added time, you would think. Still 3-2 to Ipswich away at Hull in the Championship, so Ipswich are heading second above Leeds United. They'd be 2 points clear of Leeds, and they'd have a game in hand on Leeds United as well. So with that in mind, if it stayed like this, Ipswich, by my maths, could potentially open up a 5-point advantage over Leeds. Although, forget all of that, Hull 3, Ipswich 3. Noah Ohio has scored for Hull. They've come from a goal down 3 times. It's 3-3, and just like that in the Championship, Ipswich slipped back third.
My goodness. I mean, it's just incredible. That Championship, Joe, this season has been bonkers. If it's not every single season, let's be honest with you, but try and pick who's going to finish in those top 2 spots along with Leicester. It's crazy.
Yes, don't make your pick yet. It'll be on until the final kick of the season. Chelsea are going to bring on Cesare Casadei and Disasi in just a moment. Now then, Casadei for Mudryk, and well, you would think here Disasi for Thiago Silva, surely. Mudryk on a yellow card as Casadei, wearing the gloves, takes the field. Very chilly right in the game now. Here comes that electronic board, and yet Thiago Silva's evening ends maybe a little earlier than was planned. He is on a yellow card as well, and Disasi takes the field for what will be the added time to come, because we've only got 10 seconds of normal time to go here, Mickey.
Well, it's now or never, isn't it, for Chelsea? They either just play out this game and go home with nothing. Well, obviously a draw, but they want all 3 points if they possibly can, and it's a real shock, isn't it, when you see what Aston Villa produced in that first 45 minutes from what we've seen so far. And look, the crowd have tried to egg them on a little bit just to get them going a little bit, but for some strange reason it's just not happening for them.
7 added minutes here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 2. It would be drop points for Aston Villa ultimately in the race for the Champions League. Chelsea really need wins at this stage of the season, but it would be a creditable comeback for them if it stays like this. About 40 seconds through the 7 added as the ball is rolled back to the feet of the goalkeeper Petrovic. Petrovic now out to the left-hand side. Badiashile, left-back position. Ball up the near side channel. Cassidy, first touch, he's off to it very quickly. Tripped by Diego Carlos. Free kick to Chelsea. Well won by the young Italian. And Chelsea, well, they thought they were going to take it quickly there. Jackson wanted it early, but they're going to wait and send Badiashile, Chalobah and Disasi all forward.
Yeah, well, all the big hitters have gone up there, haven't they? And this is a real opportunity from that wide position yet again. Cole Palmer seems to be the man who takes them over on this left-hand side. I just wonder, Joe, whether this is maybe even better for Conor Gallagher, just to whip it towards that goal, because, let's be honest with you, Robin Olsen's not really looked too confident when the ball's gone into that 6-yard box.
Taken short by Palmer to Gallagher, caught in the penalty area. Palmer on the overlap. Gallagher goes for goal himself, blocked by Matty Cash, headed away by Duran. There was a crowd of claret and blue shirts in front of Gallagher there. It's nudged back out wide to Palmer by Caicedo. Palmer takes on Iropanam, who does well to win it off him, and then he wins a free kick. Tugged back by Cucurella with the curly hair, and a free kick to Aston Villa. Nearly 2 through the 7 added at the end of the game. It's Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 2.
Good defending from Uriel Banan there. Absolutely fantastic in a 1v1 situation. Cole Palmer just tried to flick it round the outside of him, but stayed in his feet. Really, really good 1v1 defending.
Chelsea won here in the 4th round of the FA Cup earlier this season. Might they yet grab a very late winner? There are gaps appearing in the stands in the home sections now, as Aston Villa fans head out into the evening. Floated upfield by Chalobah, up the inside right channel to Jackson, right hand edge of the Aston Villa penalty area. Digne comes across, it's a Chelsea throw. It has been all Chelsea the whole of the second half, really, from the off.
Yeah, from where
they've been excellent.
Where we've been doing the commentary from, Joe, I've not really looked too much to my right hand side, I have to be completely honest with you, and you're right, it's just been all Chelsea.
Palmer 30 yards out, looking to scamper forward, then he checks back towards the right away from Watkins, feeds Madueke. Madueke level the edge of the penalty area, he darts infield again, he looks dangerous, he's threaded it through to Nicholas Jackson, who can't reach it. It's going to trickle behind and away for a goal kick. 4 added minutes to go, and the scores remain level, 2 apiece.
Well, Nicholas Jackson just slipped at the wrong time as that ball was played through to him there, trying to run in towards that 6-yard area. But how easy has it been for Chelsea in that final third, just to play those through balls, and all that running that Aston Villa were doing in the first half? It's as if they've just switched off.
Well, I think one of the positives for Villa is that Tottenham have to make up the ground. 3 given away by Diego Carlos, straight to Cole Palmer, he's away from 1, he's away from 2, Palmer sees it, saved by Olsen. Olsen and Diego Carlos got it a mess, but I tell you what, he redeemed himself, the goalkeeper there. Palmer skipped beyond the 2 defenders, should have finished it off by his high standards, denied the chance to win the game by the leg of Olsen. Corner.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, it's so sloppy from Aston Villa initially, but it's brilliant from Cole Palmer. His feet are fantastic, and my goodness, I think we're all sat here just waiting for that ball to roll into the back of the net, but what a super save to keep this game level.
4 added minutes have been played, 3 remain. Corner to Chelsea, north end of Villa Park. It's Cole Palmer to deliver left-footed, and up goes Cassidy, only half cleared. Badiashile at the back post, can he wriggle it away from Diego Carlos? He's hooked it back in. Disasi has scored the winner for Chelsea. Axel Disasi in the 95th minute, and the Chelsea comeback is complete. Disasi dances a jig on the far side in front of the Chelsea fans, and what character, spirit and never say die attitude from Maurizio Pochettino's team, and they may yet have hurt Aston Villa's Champions League chances. It's Chelsea in stoppage time again. Axel Disasi heading off the bar. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 3.
Well, sometimes in football you just can't believe your eyes at times. This just wasn't on the cards at half time, but they've come out in the second half. Chelsea, they've reacted, they've got themselves back into the game. They've certainly been the side on the front foot. I think the Aston Villa players were waiting for a foul. It looked like Diego Carlos was waiting for the referee to blow his whistle, There was a little bit of a nudge on his back, but you've got to react, you've got to stay switched on until you hear that whistle.
VAR checking it, Mickey. Possible foul, and the Chelsea players throw up their arms into the air. They're fuming. Pochettino speaks to the fourth official. Villa fans leaving their seats in front of us. They might turn on their heels and come back in a moment. That might have gone down as an own goal from Aston. I think it has, because it was a header from Disassi that hit the bar, and I think maybe hit the hand of the goalkeeper before going in. The referee's going to check the monitor.
Well, this is interesting, Joe. I mean, was he in an offside position? I'm not quite sure that's what they're checking. I think they're actually checking the foul, and it was over in the corner here, and it was Diego Carlos. That little nudge just to get it out of the way. Yeah, and I think this is actually going to be rescinded.
Well, Diego Carlos is a big, strong centre half. It's a nudge from Badiashile. Is it enough to get the goal ruled out? Could be a big moment in the race for the top four. And the goal is ruled out. It's 2-2, and the Chelsea fans disbelieving and desperately disappointed. But VAR has decided that it was a foul by Badiashile. The referee, Craig Pawson, had a look at it, decided he thought it was a foul, and what incredible drama. What would have been, ultimately, in the end from Disassi's header, an own goal from Olsen, ruled out, and it's 2-2, and we have now had 7 minutes of added time.
Oh, just look at that reaction from Mauricio Pochettino. He's absolutely seething. He wanted the goal to stand, and I'm sure all the Chelsea players and Chelsea supporters wanted it as well. But as the build-up in that goal, Joe, was happening, I seen the foul, but because they played on, I thought he was going to get away with it, because there was no reaction from the Villa players.
Now, sliding in on the far side, the left is Pau Torres. The Villa fans are on their feet here. Rodgers has gone on the outside of Chalobah. 2-2. Can Aston Villa win it here? Rodgers to the dead ball line. Chalobah slides in. Corner to Aston Villa. I tell you what, they'll be coming back to retake their seats, the Villa fans here. 2-2, 98th minute. Talk Sport. While the Premier League continues to provide the most incredible drama, Pochettino will be raging here if Chelsea concede a winner.
My goodness.
And the Villa fans believe they can get it.
What an end to the game.
Corner, Holt End, 2-2. Flurry of bodies in and around the penalty spot, being well watched by the referee, Craig Pawson. Chelsea thought they'd won it, but after a VAR check, the goal disallowed. Holt End trying to suck the ball into the net. It's Luca Digne with the left-footed corner. Duran onto the roof of the net. Looping header. He nearly did win it. The Holt End nearly did suck it into the net. 2-2.
My goodness, I mean, how close can you come? It's really good from Conor Gallagher, because he has to do something as Duran's just coming in to get any contact on that, and it looked as if it was going to dip underneath the crossbar. Great ball in from Digne. It was if that Holt End was sucking that ball into the back of the net.
Clearance from the goalkeeper. We've had nearly 99 minutes now. Still 2-2. All Villa since the disallowed goal. But Cucurella's won it back on halfway for Chelsea. Caicedo square pass, and it ends. Oh, Premier League, we love you. It finishes 2-2 here at Villa Park. An embrace between Mauricio Pochettino and Unai Emery. Ultimately, Aston Villa have dropped 2 points in the race for Champions League football, but it could have been so much worse than that. Chelsea thought they'd won it right at the end, and Chelsea are really not happy with the referee. Badiashile judged to have committed a foul, and Pochettino's having to run on here. Jesus Perez likewise, to try and get some of the Chelsea players away from the match officials, because they thought they'd won it. A header from Disassi that went in off the goalkeeper Olsen, adjudged to have been a foul by Badiashile on Diego Carlos in the build-up. VAR had to intervene. Referee checked his pitch side monitor, ruled out what would have been a Chelsea winner, and you have to say, on the balance of play, what would have been a deserved Chelsea winner, having fought back to 2-2 with goals from Madueke and then a fine effort from Conor Gallagher. Villa were 2-0 up at half-time, an own goal from Cucurella and Morgan Rodgers. They are 7 points clear of Tottenham. The Spurs have 3 games in hand. Chelsea linger in front of the referee and now head towards the far side. They probably deserve to win it. In the end, they've only drawn it. More thrills and spills from the Premier League. Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 2.